Taking inspiration from the iconic Vlad the Dracula, Warren Publishing came up with its first edition of Vampirella in 1969. Since then, she has become the most iconic vampire in the world of comics. Born on the planet of Draculon, Vampirella escaped from her home planet and landed on Earth using a human spaceship after her entire vampire race fell due to limited resources. Soon after she landed on Earth, she became a protector of men and fought evil with the amazing superpowers that she gained from her home planet. She fell in love with a man named Matt Exid, a federal agent possessed by the eponymous villain Dracula. In today's video, we will discuss her marriage to Matt Exid and how her pregnancy became a huge turning point in her 50-year-old publishing history. So without any delay, let's get into the video and know the entire story behind her infamous pregnancy in full detail. But before getting into the video, please like and subscribe to our video and turn on the bell icon to get notifications for our latest episodes. A girl from Draculon. As we already mentioned, Vampirella was born on the alien planet Draculon, situated thousands of light years away from Earth. On this planet, the vampire race flourished from the magical blood rivers and gained incredible powers, strength, and magical abilities that helped them conquer other planets. However, due to excessive heat, the blood rivers started to desiccate and the life source came to an end. But when a human spaceship crashed onto the surface of the planet, a young Vampirella found the spacecraft and made her way to Earth. After struggling to set foot into the world of humans, she became a member of a cult named the Cult of Chaos, who used her supernatural powers for their personal gain. But later, she managed to escape from the cult and taught herself to survive on the planet without the consumption of human blood. After a change of heart, she starts helping humans in times of need, becoming a powerful superheroine. When it comes to her powers, she is undoubtedly a powerful cosmic being with the powers of flight and her enormous bat-like wings, the power of hypnosis, invisibility, shape-shifting, and super strength that help her fight the evil like the Lord of Evil, Dracula himself. The Bride of Dracula, known for her bold, sensual style and provocative costumes, soon after the publication of her first comic issue, she became an instant hit among teenagers and comic nerds. But when the comics announced that after almost 50 years of publication, this was the first time the writers came up with the idea of showing the seductive siren as a mother, it is quite evident that this was about to change her image from that of a temptress to that of a lovable mother. At the beginning of Vampirella, Dracula, Unholy Vampirella, and her newlywed husband, Matt Exid, are on a trip to the infamous Transylvania for their honeymoon. Vampirella first encountered Matt when he was just a homeless little kid infected by the dangerous virus of Dracula. She became his savior, and now she embraces her as a wife. Sounds a bit creepy, right? But she genuinely loved him and tried her best to find a cure for him. Finally, she learned that by using a blood ritual, she could free Matt from this infection and stop him from converting into the Dark Lord. Confused and disinterested in the satanic ritual, initially Matt refuses to perform the ritual, but Vampirella uses her powers to hypnotize Matt, and they end up having sex. While they mate, Vampirella uses some satanic chants and takes a bite from Matt's neck. This awakens Dracula, and finally he tastes her blood, which binds them in an unbreakable vow. Later in the comics, it is revealed that Vampirella is not the only one in Matt's life. He was in love with another man named Eric, who has been a friend and companion for a really long time, and Matt has unknowingly infected him during their stint as lovers. Dracula has now completely taken over Eric, making him a vessel for his existence. Dracula attacks the newlywed couple and convinces them to join his side, but Matt quickly understands that Dracula has a severely infected lover, Eric, and there's no way to bring him back. Dracula survives his fate from Matt's bullets and escapes the building, but Vampirella gets injured by one of the bullets. While Vampirella is in the hospital getting her treatment for the injury, Matt goes on to fight with Dracula and blasts him off, hoping to destroy Dracula along with him. But Drac survives the incident. Vampirella runs away from the hospital and avenges the death of her husband by defeating Dracula in a fight. At the end of the Unholy series, it is revealed that she is pregnant with Matt's child as a result of their coitus during the blood ritual. An heir to the devil. After learning about her pregnancy in the Unholy series, the topic was again continued in the next series. Vampirella / Dracula rage in the series for the first time in all these years. Vampirella adorned a fighter's armor, leaving her seductive self when she had to save her baby from the hands of Dracula. This shows how the journey of motherhood is universal for every species in the universe. The series starts with a man named Mark Azrael talking to Victoria Harris, a trusted friend and advisor to Vampirella. Upon her arrival, Victoria asks Mark if he is Dracula, to which he replies that there is no such thing as Dracula, and he's just a silly character from a novel. He tells her the story of his origin. He tells her that after Vampirella's husband Mark tried to destroy the Dark Lord using the bomb, only the body of Eric got destroyed by the blast. The soul of the Vampire Lord never dies because it's indestructible and will find a new body to infect. And that's how he came into contact with the body of Mark Azrael, who once was a famous jazz singer. Then he goes on to tell her the story of Vampirella's child. After Vampirella's pregnancy was revealed, she left for an unknown destination with one of her friends, Legere Holland, to protect her unborn child from the dark forces. But in the middle of the sea, the crew started to protest against their presence on the boat. After killing everyone on the boat, after a crazy fight, Vampirella's health started to decline, so Legere had to fly over the ocean using his powers and admit her to the hospital. There she gave birth to a baby, but before she could even get to smell her newborn baby, the staff declared him dead. The news broke Ella's heart. This baby was the only surviving hope from her late husband. But before she could find the dead body of the baby, an army of undead started to attack Ella and Legere, but they successfully managed to escape the hospital using their wings. After hearing this, Victoria creates a portal using the powerful ring given to her by Vampirella's mother Lilith, who is, yes, the same Lilith from mythology, who is considered the first ever woman created by God. Though in the beginning of the comics, there was no clear detail on Vampirella's parents, in the later editions it becomes clear that she is the daughter of Lilith. Both Victoria and Mark entered the portal and kept talking about Vampirella. The cult of Tortola. After putting her daughter to sleep, the famous vampire hunter Van Helsing comes to his kitchen and finds Vampirella waiting for him. Known for his bravery and his lifelong fight against the dark forces, Van Helsing has created a niche for himself, but in reality, he has surrendered his loyalty to Dracula. He was the one who took the baby and altered the documents at the hospital. When Vampirella asked Van about her baby, he refuses to give her any details and starts attacking her. Vampirella attacks him, makes him feed her lactating blood, flies him through the sky, and throws him in the middle of a baseball field. Suddenly, Van starts seeing his lord instead of Vampirella in the darkness of the ground. Seeing his master in front of him, Helsing starts spilling all the secrets into his ear. But later, Mark tells Victoria that it was Vampirella who used her powers of hypnosis to project herself as Dracula and successfully extract the secrets from the dying man. After kidnapping the baby from the hospital, Van gave this baby to the members of a cult in the Amazons. When Vampirella learnt about it, she fled all the way to the Amazon and fought with the cult, but soon she found out that the cultists had already sacrificed the baby to Satan. Revenge of a mother. To seek revenge of a child, Vampirella leaves her seductive avatar and dons a new costume and a new identity. Her grief turns her into a vigilante, an indestructible force that was not going to be controlled by living beings on the planet. Vampirella found out all the locations of Santo Domingo, Buenos Aires, Geneva, Franklin, and Somerville, where the cultists have fled after killing her baby in the Amazons. She finds her first victim, Leo, a hardware store owner in the small town of Somerville. She attacks him and flies him through the sky to his house, where he lives with his sick wife, Carmen. Vampirella tells Leo that her lovable wife has been a worshipper of Dracula, and she is the one who sacrificed her stillborn baby to the Dark Lord. But to Vampirella's surprise, Carmen has also been affected by the virus, and she suddenly jumps out of bed and throws Vampirella out the window. After walking up to the road, Vampirella finds Dracula before her. Vampirella confronts Dracula and blames him for the death of a child. Dracula tells her that he was his too, the carrier of his blood through Matt, who would have acquired his empire in the future. Vampirella was in no mood to listen to this bullshit. She knew that when she conceived the baby with Matt, he had already passed on the virus to Eric, so Dracula had no part in her baby. Vampirella breaks a piece of wooden stick and stabs it in Dracula's chest, but Dracula mocks her by saying she is making a fool out of herself by trying to kill an already dead person. and she flees from the planet, turning himself into a bat. Invested in Dracula's story, Victoria asks him if vampires can really turn into bats. Mark replies that it's just silly because vampires don't really turn into bats, but they are masters of disguise. They can use their powers to manipulate the human brain by using their powers to hypnotize them. Vampirella finds a second target in the middle of the ocean inside a submarine. With her powers, she disguises herself, enters the ship and its captain, and started killing everyone on board. She destroyed the entire submarine and let it sink into the cold waters of the ocean. A night of passion and betrayal. Mark and Victoria spent the night together, engaging in a night full of passionate lovemaking. In the morning, Mark and Victoria left the hotel to catch a train. Meanwhile, Vampirella had almost fulfilled her mission by killing most of the cultists present at her son's sacrifice. Now she had traveled all the way to Sweden to find her last victim and taste his blood. After searching the entire city, she noticed him standing in the corner of a train. Vampirella slowly made her way towards the man, but the man started chanting the hymn Dom al tutoro veculiro, which started causing trouble. The train suddenly stopped, and the Lord of Darkness appeared in front of the train from nowhere, causing the train to derail. When Vampirella wakes up from her unconsciousness, she finds herself under the control of Dracula. He had already started to control the brain of Vampirella. He accessed her memories of Draculon and called her lucky to have been born in such a beautiful wilderness. But when Vampirella tries to get him out of her brain, Dracula sympathizes with the death of her child because it's their baby. Not just her baby alone. The baby was a seed of the Dracula virus, making him his only heir. Then he asks her to not get consumed by the dark and stop spreading all the mess around the world. Listening to such words from the mouth of a monster known for his murderous nature became unusual for Vampirella, but Dracula advised her that no one except him could guide them because he had already been consumed by the dark. The final showdown. Mark and Victoria got stopped at the platform due to the incident, but Victoria used her ring to create a portal, and they entered the world of Draculon. Soon after entering the land of vampires, Mark turns into Dracula and attacks Victoria from behind. Though he thought of Victoria as a bimbo with a powerful ring, in reality she is a brilliant sorceress who had already understood his plans to use her as a medium to get into Draculon. Victoria stops Dracula from attacking her using the Ring of Lilith. It was clear that Dracula became close to her just to use her as a mode of transportation using the powers of the ring. His destination was finding the mystical door of Draculon and using Vampirella's blood to get into the city and rule over this planet. Now that he had the blood of Vampirella, he can use it to fulfill his desires, but before he can finish his lines, a mystical hand grabs his neck and drags him through the gates of Draculon. Vampirella reaches the door and asks her friend Victoria if she missed action. Marvelous verdict. The series stirred a sensation among the comic readers when they announced Vampirella's pregnancy for the first time. Seeing the vampire siren as a mother was not on anyone's cards for 2024. Vampirella completely embraced her role as a grieving mother who lost her baby to a satanic ritual, which became a significant turning point in her character arc. Though she is known to be a savior of humans and the complete opposite of her entire race, who thrive on human blood, she doesn't kill innocent villains for her thirst. But in this storyline, in search of the killers of her baby, she herself becomes a virus, killing hundreds of people. Her bloodthirst became such a rage that even Dracula became scared of her. This series showed the powers of a mother and how her determination to take revenge on the killers turned her into a stone-cold murderer. However, as an ongoing series, she will again return to the final series of the storyline, where there's a possibility of a huge fight between Vampirella and Dracula. The series might come up with a cure for the Dracula virus. The readers also want to know who that mystical person was who dragged them through the doors of Draculon. Did Dracula successfully manage to enter the city, or was it his fate? Hopefully, the upcoming series will answer all your queries. Until then, enjoy our videos, and remember to like and subscribe to our channel.